all-the-time pain-in-the-ass John Pritkin wasn't wearing a coat. Of course he wasn't. It had to be sub-zero out here, and if it hadn't been for all the adrenaline pumping through my system, I'd have been freezing to death. But a coat wasn't macho. And if I'd learned one thing about war mages, the closest thing the supernatural community had to a police force, it was that they were always macho. Even the women. It was kind of scary. Sort of like dangling about a mile above a lot of very pointy mountains. Your abilities will do you little good if you cannot learn to function under stress, he continued calmly as we slowly drifted closer to the pointy bits. Stress? I asked, my voice cracking slightly. Pritkin, stress is a bad hair day. Stress is gaining 5 pounds right before swimsuit season. This is not stress. Call it what you will. The point is the same. Remember what we discussed. Assess, determine what is happening, address, decide which of your abilities can best deal with the problem at hand, and then act, quickly and decisively. You must learn to do this automatically, without freezing up, and regardless of the circumstances, or you will suffer the consequences. I'm trying, I said resentfully. It was barely 2 months since I'd been pushed off another cliff, and the fact that it had been a metaphorical one hadn't helped at all. I'd been declared, over my loud and sustained protests, Pythia, the chief seer of the supernatural world. It was a job that some people were willing to kill for, as I'd discovered the hard way. For my part, I'd spent a good deal of those 2 months trying to give back the power that came with the office, only to find out it didn't want to leave. After a number of very hard lessons, I'd finally accepted that I was going to have to make the best of it. As a result, I'd been working my metaphysical butt off trying to make up for the lifetime of training the other candidates had received. It would have helped if Rambo up there hadn't demanded that I learn self-defense, too. I agreed that I needed that, but one thing I didn't know how to do at a time was enough. Try harder, Mr. Complete Lack of Sympathy told me. Look, I said, trying to reason with him despite extensive experience that this rarely worked. This isn't a great time. I have my inauguration, coronation, coming up. And I'm trying to raise my abilities from pathetic to just sad before then, so I don't totally embarrass myself in front of the people I'm supposed to be leading. And there are fittings for the dress they want me to wear, and about a ton of names to learn. And if I get a title wrong, it could cause some sort of international incident. I will make you a deal, he said, cutting me off. What kind of deal? I asked warily. Wheeling and dealing was a vampire trait. Something that the other man in my life was much more likely to try. War mages ordered, threatened, and bitched, depending on the circumstance. They didn't deal. Except for today, apparently. We're directly over an area used by the Corps as a training ground, he told me, referring to the formal name of the war mages. Stay ahead of me for 15 minutes, using any abilities you like other than time shifting. And I won't bother you again for a week. I didn't say anything for a moment, because there were several types of shifting that came standard with my office, through space and through time. They might look the same to Pritkin, except that I moved from place to place instead of from era to era, but they weren't. His boss at the Corps, Jonas Marsden, was the one training me in my newly acquired abilities, and he told me so himself. So if Pritkin didn't specifically forbid me from spatially shifting, I could easily stay ahead of him and buy myself a free week in the process. After the way things have been going lately, a little time off would be heaven. But it would be a bad mistake to sound like it. We've been out here half the day already, I complained. I'm tired. I haven't eaten since breakfast and I can't feel my toes anymore. I'll throw in a picnic. My head came up. What? I hid a basket this morning. After the test, I'll take you to it. It'll be cold by now. I left it with a warmer.